Hello, my name is CLeone. I'm a graduate student at West Texas A&M University, currently doing an oral case analysis for management class 6334 seminar in organizational behavior for the fall 2018 semester. I will be referencing materials out of Give and Take by Adam Grant, Harnessing the Science of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini, How to Build Your Network by Brian Uzi and Shannon Dunlop, and the case study itself, which is Heidi Roizen, Harvard Business School by Kathleen McGinn and Nicole Tempest. I will be addressing the questions such as what are the strengths of Roizen's network in the various stages of her career. I'll also touch on how the concepts from the book and articles tie very closely to her ability to gain influence, power, and networking success. I started off this project reading the book Give and Take. A common theme throughout it was success depends heavily on how we interact with people. Great segue into Heidi Roizen. Heidi Roizen grew up in the Silicon Valley. She lived somewhat of a privileged life, but then her family struggled financially. She went on to study at Stanford. She met her fiance. She really focused her life around her fiance. She was really a giver. He got into a plane crash and subsequently passed away. And this is when she looked at reassessing her life. She graduated from Stanford. She was looking for a position and she reached out to a friend who helped her get a position at Tandem Corporation. I would say her friend is definitely an information broker. I wouldn't say Heidi is a taker. She's still a giver, but she does ask for help when she needs it, which is perfectly fine. This first networking experience was a huge success. It actually gave her the ability to interface with the CEO, tremendous opportunity that she really took advantage of. After which she decided she wanted to go back to Stanford to get a business degree. She asked the CEO to write a letter of recommendation for her, consider the reciprocity principle. You know, she worked hard for him. He was going to write this for her. And once again, give and take, states that givers who excel ask for help when they need it. So it's A-OK. After she graduated from Stanford, she linked up with her brother, who is also part of her network. He was working on a novel technology called Teamaker. Both her and him decided that they did not want to get financing from anyone. So she looked at building very strong relationships with members of the press so that they would review the product and get it more into the marketplace. This would be linked to the principle of likability because she was very likable by these folks and they were willing to help her in exchange. She attended a lot of events. She maximized her time with people. She worked the room. She was a social butterfly. This is how she did so well with networking. She ended up joining technology groups and would eagerly sit in on panels and give interviews at every opportunity, which would be considered the shared activity principle. This is out of the typical corporate environment. This enabled her to, hobnob with some pretty important people. This helped her develop her power and her influence, and was truly a very giving capability that she had. She ended up becoming president of the Software Publishers Association. She became a principal of authority or an expert. She worked on software industry issues. Even though she hobnobbed with some powerful people, she always wanted to befriend people who weren't famous as well. She cultivated powerful brokers who weren't in positions of formal authority. Her brother wasn't very happy with the direction of the company. Heidi and the co-founder ended up buying him out. And as the book Give and Take points out, givers excel at moving on when the bets don't work out. She ended up joining up with Apple, vice president of worldwide developer relations. She was recognized and respected by so many people because of her past associations with the SPA. She definitely had social proof and peer power. She did at times have to call in some favors, and sometimes it was people with whom she had spoken to recently, but some of them were dormant ties as well. Because she was always responsive and consistent with her actions, reaching out to these dormant ties was not difficult. She found these reconnections still there, feelings of trust. After which she actually, found herself burning out at Apple, working a lot of hours, and she was putting everybody's other interests ahead of her own. She left Apple, she became a mentor capitalist, she contributed her time and experience in return for equity, more of a matcher type of role. She was hired ultimately because she was such an expert in this area. She had the principle of authority. She was very smart. She was pleasant to work with, very likable. She became a super connector, connecting people together. And she would use the glass slipper effect, where she would have to make sure that it was a good fit for both parties. And once again, she went by the way of making sure it was a win-win for her network. And she respected people's time. So she never wanted to go back to the same well many times. She wanted to make sure that she always respected the amount of time people had available. She wanted a balance in relationships. She figured out that she no longer wants to always do goodwill, but she doesn't want to be a doormat. So she would definitely be in the category of otherish. She became a venture capitalist eventually. She liked the partnership aspect of it, and she was hired because of her mentoring capabilities and the contacts that she had up until this point of time. She tended to take her time to respond to entrepreneurs that had been rejected, because she just never knew down the road if those people would resurface again in her network. I guess the most intriguing part of Heidi was, for me, when I went on LinkedIn and I sent her a message, and within the few hours, she had responded back to me and said, good luck, with everything that I'm doing in life. This is a true testament to who she is.